for you.
Hello?
Hello, Jughead. This is Archie. Come over right away. It's a matter of life or death.
Oh, relax, Archie.
Attention, all true believers. Marvel Comics is on the air.
A friend of the unfortunate, enemy of criminals. In reality, Dan Garrett, a rookie patrolman, loved by everyone but suspected by none of being the Blue Beetle.
Boys and girls, your attention, please. Presenting a new exciting radio program featuring the thrilling adventures of an amazing and incredible personality. Faster than an airplane, more powerful than a locomotive, impervious to bullets.
Up in the sky, look!
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman!
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is going on, everybody? How are you guys doing? It's your dude, Chuck Pineau, and I'm here for a very, very special episode of Shop Talk. And I'm really excited because I get to spend a little bit of the holidays with you guys. And we're all gonna keep up the illusion that I'm here on the 25th, hanging out with you guys. And you know what? I wish I could be. But today I've got some really awesome people. This last year has been, I think for a lot of people, it's been a challenging one. And I started working with some really cool people, and I started working on a great book called Deathblade. And I'm so excited to be a part of this team and to be able to talk about them. And they've got a Kickstarter coming up in February, and we thought it would be really cool for you guys to see some new indie powerhouses coming out for next year, and something to be really excited about for next year. So this is like a Christmas thing and a New Year's thing. So you know what? I've taken up way more than enough of your time. We're going to be right back after this sweet, sweet opener, and we're going to be able to talk with the team from Deathblade. See you guys in just a sec. Okay, that was a quick one. How's everybody doing? Do we have the rest of the team coming in?
We are here. What's going on?
There we go. What is going on? I've got my dude Ed Brown, I've got my man Brian, and I've got Aleem, because I know how to say it right.
My man, thank you.
Man, thank you.
It's very good. I'm happy to do it. Brian, are you here too?
Yep, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, we can. Good.
Yeah, the camera.
He mentioned it before the show. He mentioned, he's like, "Could anyone hear me?" And I was like, "I thought I did, but I'm not certain now." So we all together work on this sweet book, Deathblade, which I almost like. Ed, I hate to bug you. Can you like just shrink down just so people can get a good look for a second at the kid? You're right. Like you put it up there. This is on you. So that's right. That's going to be one of our banners for the new Kickstarter coming out. Mm-hmm. We have this sweet team. Ed, can you introduce us to your team real quick, or let them introduce themselves however you want to do it?
Sure. I'm going to start with Brian. Brian is our writer. Me and Brian go back. We go way back.
2 years.
2 years. 2
Two
years.
long
back.
years.
It feels like way back.
He would tell you, man, we go up through a lot. And he's hung with me, and I'm glad, we got the story that we wanted and something that we're expecting the comic book universe to really love. He loves what he's doing. He's passionate, and being able to bring my vision, my ideal, and being able to sit down with Brian and for him to understand, I call it my ebonics, because sometimes people have to figure out what Ed's talking about going 100 miles per hour, but he's definitely been a blessing. And then of course, Aleem, my man, I met him at the C2E2 through Kevin Gourlay of Ink Studios. he said, Ed, I want you to link up with Aline. And we just clicked, met him at the Heroic Awards. We had a really good time. We started talking. And then it was just kind of interesting because I already had an artist that I was working with. And he said, Kevin said, just let him do something. And I said, okay, sure. We'll let Aline do something. And he did it and he blew me away. And there was nothing I could do. But Aline is, as those who know, he is also the creator of Sweet Pea, The Diary of Sweet Pea, who did very well on Kickstarter. And I'm just glad to have him on my team. He's a super guy. And of course, we have the greatest editor of all time. We got Chuck, who's just the genius guy who keeps us all in line. It's all good.
I try. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So, enough about me, of course. So Deathblade, really, right away, if anybody's gonna, and that was one of the first things that I noticed when I first started getting pictures and pages, turnarounds, all that kind of stuff, is the look. Yes. Just really cool look. So give us the pitch. What do you like? When you get to a convention, how are you going to sell Deathblade?
I think the first thing I want people to take a look is it looks cool. Then once they get past the look of cool, I want to be able to tell them a story, say, hey, this is a guy who has gone through so many challenges. He's on survivor mode, trying to make it. He's trying to find who he is. One of the things that I would say that people will like about Deathblade is that it's a total different story. It has a lot of different looks. Jack Kirby is one of my all-time favorites. Todd McFarlane, Dwayne McDuffie. If you want to take a couple of looks, like we were talking last night with the new letterer that we just hired, ESK, who's great. He thought it was Batman, and I said, no, it's so much more, with this story of Deathblade. And they're going to see the depth, they're going to see the art, they're going to see different things that we're going to challenge the audience.
Nice. Yeah. And so, Alim, when the project was brought to you, what was kind of your first take on it? Like when you first heard the details of it, and I guess you would have come in pre-art, right?
Say pretty what?
Did you come in pre-art, or was there some art for the book already done when you showed up?
There was some art already. There was some crazy concept designs. That's what really drew me in. Like Ed said, we met at C2E2 through mutual acquaintances, and he had actually seen some of my work, which always surprises me. That's something that I'm passionate about doing, and yeah, it always just amazes me when I see any kind of artwork that I've produced being appreciated by somebody else, right? So he had what you see behind you up there, the Deathblade thing is what really drew me in initially. I love that picture. Design is crazy. So yeah, we were speaking, and he decided to give me a shot on a concept design, right? For Deathblade. Yes. I think that was the first one. Mm-hmm. Right. So yeah, I got with my art team and we put something together and we knocked it out of the park, and they loved it. And it was like, for me, I'm still relatively new to being inside the indie comic book community and getting started. Like The Diary of Sweet Pea was my first book, and that wasn't but so long ago. So to get that kind of praise and recognition from somebody, it astounds me still to this day. So
it was crazy, Chuck. It was crazy, man. I had to fire the guy, and it was like I was stalling. I was telling Lee, I said, Lee, you just took his job. You took someone's job.
I didn't mean to take anybody's job.
He took his job. It was
That's
like
not what I set out to do. But look,
oh my god,
he took his job. I was like, oh my god,
that's not what I set out to do. But the reason I was giving you the whole backstory was to let you know that I'm passionate about art. So
this dude is melting the snow with the friggin' tea here, calling out a Liam. Wow, holy crap. Okay.
I mean, he blew it. I'm serious, Chuck. It was so bad. I was stalling for weeks to tell the other guy, I'm sorry, I'm not going with you. And the guy was good, but he just wasn't for Deathblade.
Yeah, we got to take a second, I think, to give credit to Yusuf Shitu, who is the actual artist that took the vision. But, you know, we worked together on the design and things like that and fine-tuned it into something that we thought Ed would be proud of. We wanted to make sure we treating this like it's a big opportunity, because I believe that Deathblade is like a really huge opportunity, especially, you know, for me and everybody involved in it, you know, Ed and from Ed on down. Right. So we approached it like that. Like, we got to take this serious and really get it right. And, what we got is what we got. You've seen the artwork. I think we really putting something together that's going to be special.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think also, one of the challenges and one of the things for me being new to the comic book world, you know, I didn't know a lot of stuff. And I'll be honest with you, you know, I'm still learning. But I'm passionate about making sure that I get the right team. And I have to give credit to Kevin Golay and them for connecting me with great people that are passionate, people that are patient. Because, you know, as creators, sometimes we like to hear our own stuff and we're just tunnel vision. And one of the things that I've always tell these guys, and they will tell you, I don't have yes men around me. I don't believe in that. I believe in people who can help Deathblade, because it's not about me. And, you know, with guys, and Brian's been with me for the longest. Welcome back, Brian. Brian's been with me for the longest.
Shortest in the show, but the longest.
I meant that was long.
Yes, he's been with me for the longest. And Brian can tell you, I don't like yes men. I like guys who tell it like it is. And so when people see Deathblade, they're going to see the hard work. It's not, you know, people think when you do an independent, you know, indie comic, that it is, you don't put a lot of money in it. Man, we've invested a lot of money in this.
Yeah. So it's funny that you guys talk about it like that, because, you know, one thing, I've worked in a lot of comics with a lot of different teams and whatnot, and there's a couple of different types of teams that you're going to see the most of. You're going to see teams that really do work very well. Everyone stays in their lane, does their thing. It goes all the way up, and then it's done, and it's out, and it's fairly painless. And then, of course, you're going to have the exact opposite, which those teams that just, you know, for whatever reason, butting heads, not working well together, unable to produce anything that really anyone can be happy with, because they just don't gel well, whether, you know, for any number of reasons. But then this team is different in that, like, there can be, and let's be honest, I've been behind stage a little bit with you guys. There can be some butting of heads, but it's like, it's different in that it's passionate, and it's not because it's like, I don't like you or I think you suck. It's no, I really want what's best for this book. And I think that this is it, or that this isn't it, or whatever. And there's a passion in that you just don't usually see early on. Usually more about egos, but this is about the book. What do you think, Ed, kind of?
I wasn't the only one that froze,
right?
Yeah, froze.
Yeah, we all froze.
What's funny is everybody else froze too.
Did you guys at least hear me finish it?
Yeah, you just froze in mid sentence, so we was like, oh, okay.
Wow, those drones really are, UFOs.
Right.
Yes.
Did you guys at least hear the end of the question or no?
No, we didn't hear the end of the question.
No.
All we saw was your mouth open, and that was it.
It was a
It was like a good first date.
So, when getting a passionate team like that together that works so well together, and it's not about ego, it's about the book. What do you think is the special sauce to forming that kind of a team? Because it's not normal.
I would say
no softball questions here. I don't care if I work for you. I'm going to be tough.
You know what? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I think that has been important to me, and I think Aleem, and I'm pretty sure Brian can tell you, I go on relationships because I feel that after we've done books, we've done enough. I've looked at a person if I can build a relationship with them, and I think that's part of it. We've built relationships. Me and Aleem are very close. Me and Brian are very close. Brian talks real with me. Sometimes I think he just likes to beat me up, like he gets a belt and just wants to just go to town. But love each other.
I plead the fifth.
Because he's going to plead the fifth. He's going to definitely plead the fifth. But I feel that we feel like we're family. And I tell everyone, I don't have an ego. My ego went out the door immediately when I went to E2C2. I mean the C2E2 Comic Con. My head was blown. I've been a comic book reader. That was my first Comic Con ever going, and I got scared. I was like, ugh. I was like, this is different. They really take it this serious? And that's when I realized the light went on. I said, hey, I got to have a right team. I can't have no.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, it may be intimidating from the outside, but try being on the other side of that booth. Whoo! Like one thing, it's like, oh, there's a lot of people, but also there's a lot of people.
Yes, it is, and they take it very serious. And I realize that if I'm going to go hard, I need people that are going to go hard, and that people that are passionate about what we're trying to do.
Yeah,
and and just from the storyline, Brian, I mean, you can just hit them with, tell them briefly about the storyline about Deathblade, because I think that's what they need to hear.
So when I came on, it was August 2022 now.
Mm-hmm.
Came on to write because Eddie has 3 different titles in the pipeline. He wants to do this big amalgamation universe, shared universe, because, hey, that's the flavor of the week right now. The original idea for Deathblade was more superhero-ish. So we ran with that script for about, 8 months, a year?
Yeah, a year, yep.
The writer wasn't with the project anymore. We brought in somebody else. And for a year and a half, we were trying to, beating out the script, trying to find out what works, the best narrative sense, the best way to tell the story, because everybody knows what the story is in their head. It's about how you relate it to the audience. Now, a little bit of my history. I've been attached to a lot of big comic book projects before as creative consultant, as writer, but unfortunately, I don't get credit, NDAs. I'm a career freelancer. I've written New York Times best-selling books. I have a screenplay being filmed right now. I just sold another screenplay earlier today, which I can't really say much about yet. But with stories, it's about how you present it, how you tell it, because at the core of everything, as cliche as this is, there is no new idea. There is no original idea. Everything has been told a million times. So it's literally like algebra in a way. It's about how you relate that information, how you hook the reader. I'm not trying to get, holier than thou, wait until I have a couple more whiskeys for that. But the first screenplay, script, I keep saying screenplay. I had meetings with films all day long today. First script, shoved about 20 ideas in 24 pages and was very cluttered, didn't have time to breathe, didn't have any time to just, incubate.
Mm-hmm.
The next writer, we tried getting to the horror aspect more. Now, I'm not going to say this is a horror comic. It's like Vertigo from the 80s. Dark urban fantasy. Very dark. Wouldn't breach over to, Dario Argento or Mike Flanagan horror, or in prose, Clive Barker, Joe Hill. But it's as close as it gets to that line. The next writer, he got it, but it was still forced. And then, I haven't tried writing for Eddie for a while. We were talking about it. I was like, all right, I'll get it for you. And I wrote the first issue script in less than 24 hours.
Yep.
And yeah.
He nailed it. I had to give it, as many times as he's jumped on me, he nailed it. Because he nailed it. I had to give him credit for it.
Yeah.
He nailed it.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. It sounds like it took all the other, I don't want to say failures, but you know what I mean, like missteps or whatever to get to that. Yeah, exactly. Like it was an idea, and it is an idea that even when I showed up, I have you would assume 2 years in, by the time it got to me, all the lore and everything was laid down. But even when I came in, I got to kind of be like, well, actually, what if we, played with this or did this, and we still got to play a little bit as we came into this new script. And I really dig what we're going on. Guys out there, Ed Brown, I love this guy, but if you ask him about any part of his lore, we don't have the airtime on Christmas so that you tell him about that stuff. He will talk your ears off, and it is purely with love. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to Aleem and Brian real quick, and I'm going to ask them of the aspects of the comic, the different things that are in there, as in the types of monsters and stuff, the characters, all that kind of stuff. What is the thing that grips you the most, that kind of excites you most? Aleem, let's start with you.
All right. Well, first of all, amazing script, right? Very easy to work with.
Thank you.
Very well written. It's easy to imagine the scene as you go through it, right? So Brian made my job very simple, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. No problem. All right. So as far as what grips me the most about the book, I think it's I like colors. So it's a real, the tone is very well set with the shades that we use, right? Like everything seems just a little bit smoky, like there's a darkness kind of seeping over the page, each page, whether it's nighttime, daytime, or anything in between, right? Like there's always like the feeling of shadow, even in a brightly lit room, if that makes any sense. I guess you'll understand it when you get to see the pages for yourself. So the way we use warm colors and cool colors to show difference. It's really technical and artsy stuff. I know you wanted me to say like the vampires or something.
No, dude, I want you to do you, so I appreciate this. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just kind of how my brain works, and that's the kind of things that I pay attention to and appreciate. So. And
I'll say, piggybacking up what you said. Sorry, Brian. Before we get to you, that's one thing. Well, no, but this is a nice segue. One thing I really liked about the script, because I hadn't read any of Brian's stuff previously, was most of the time when I go over a script, you often have to kind of, sort of massage a little bit of pacing into it and just be like, all right, it seems a little rushed or cluttered or whatever, or you're not hitting the page turns, or there's lots of different things you can say. But this was actually like, that was not an issue. It was just like a lot of, I felt like little tweaks, but you really had your pacing down. So that also, again, probably made it super easy for artists to be able to work with. So for you, Brian, what is something about the book or the characters or whatever that really drew you in and really excites you moving forward?
A paycheck. I'm just kidding. I'm totally just kidding.
Good choice. Good choice. Good choice.
You are such a sardonic smartass today, and I'm here for it. I love it.
To be honest, I'm going to be blunt. For 2 years, I was getting kind of restless with it. No offense, Eddie. As a writer, sitting there going, hey, okay, let's try this again. Okay. But the main thing that really stuck with me and made me want to speak up and be my own advocate to get the chance to write this is the fact that at heart, I am a horror writer. I'm a horror fan. After my dad passed away in 2006, I unfortunately blew most of the money on Italian horror films, random, cult horror films, B-rated horror films, every type of literature I could get. So, horror is in my blood. So to most jobs that I get, people will either just give me a sentence, hey, this is what I want for a story. Just do it. Or they'll hyperanalyze, overanalyze, and I'm just sitting there going, why don't you write it yourself? You're literally doing it.
Yeah.
But with this, I have the freedom to play in someone else's sandbox. The biggest thing as an independent artist, creator, writer, is sitting there going, okay, this is my own idea. I don't want to put it out there too much. What if somebody takes it? What if I give it to somebody else? Non-disclosure agreements work, but they're also very flimsy. There's a lot of holes in them. But, that pressure is off. I get to play on someone else's sandbox. I'm not thinking so much business-wise. Now, with my own stuff, it's, all right, I need to make sure, book 2 is, just as marketable as the first one. Book 3, I have to worry about that. But this, I can really play around in this urban fantasy sandbox, bring it right up close to horror as I can, but also give it identity. And in a way, not going to lie, Eddie, to be like, haha, I told you so. This is the way it should be done. Yeah.
But you know what, though, Brian? What's something that you said is when I first started, I wanted horror. But as you know, sometimes you get stuck on trying to hit so many different levels. You're like, I want to do action. I want to do drama, superhero.
You just had to figure out, and you're like, that's a tone I want in it. That's a tone.
Right. And then once I realized, I sat down, and I don't remember the day that it was, what was it? It was right before you started writing. I explained to you the whole idea of what the Deathblade universe was. I was able to explain it to you because sometimes I felt that when I explained it to you, I didn't think you was getting it. You always say, hey, let me throw this against the wall. And when you say that, I'd be like, oh, I don't want to throw it against the wall. Let's just say, let's go to that idea.
Even if it's an idea I like, sometimes, especially with, ghostwriting, which is predominantly what I do.
Right.
People get so married and attached to how they see it. You've got to kill your darlings, as the saying goes.
Exactly.
As good and as strong, as well-rounded as it's supposed to be.
And you did it.
So that's the
thing that you did. You brought it home, dude. You brought it home to where I realized this is where we are. But also, I'm going to say this. Not only was it just his writing, I got to give credit to art direction out in the UK. These are the guys that made this. The first suit that we came out with would have never worked. People would have never believed it. This right here changed the whole game. That's how we were able to really figure out, okay, this is where we're going to be. This is how we're going to do it. And then this is when I said, hey, art with a lean was serious. It had, we weren't going to play any games or anything like that. So it played a lot in the, I had to give for Jenny, and I had to give Rubio, who actually drew this from 3D, and then Aline's team was the one who drew it in 2D, who killed it. And you guys think this guy's cool? We got another character that's going to be showing up in issue 1 as just as wicked. Okay, I'm not going to give spoilers. Sorry.
I expected the long war spoilers. So I appreciate that you're like, and that's all I can say about that. I'm sure he's over there ripping his desk, whipping off pieces of it, just trying not to say anything. I respect it. I'm gonna pull focus away from you before you just. So his name is.
Sorry, I just got it.
No, dude. Well, and that's what's great, right? Like we said before, when you have a book like this that everyone's passionate about, that everyone's finding aspects that they, like the horror aspect, the brightness, the color, the characters, all that kind of stuff. I think one thing that I enjoyed an awful lot about it was that you had very specific initial inspirations, and you could tell. I think the thing that I noticed when we first got there is that the inspirations were almost obvious, and it's been really interesting just kind of chiseling away at it and really finding the core of what this character in this world looks like. Okay. And now the inspirations are just inspirations. It is its own thing, and it's been cool to kind of see that egg hatch and that art form create.
And it's the depth that you bring to Chuck. It's you as the editor, where you bring the depth. Because sometimes when you see certain stories or certain comics, I can only read once because it looks cool. Then you read it like, oh, okay, great. And there's some comics you'd be like, yo, that was really good. Let me go read that again. I can read that 4 or 5 times. Or I'm just so excited, I gotta go get issue 1, 2, and 3, or I just gotta go buy the whole issue. And that's the part that Brian, that's where the part I feel everyone as a team, from the art to the writing to editor, we want people that when they look at that, they got to turn the page. And they can be like, and when they're done, and believe me, I'm giving you another spoiler. When you see the last 2 pages, you're going to want issue 2. And we're already got issue 2 and 3 clear. So I just want to let you know, your audience know we're ahead of time. We're ahead of the curve.
And actually, there's an aspect of it, and you can kind of see it on when we're finally able to show you guys the cover. There's a military aspect to it, because one of the main characters is former military, correct?
Yes.
He's no longer special forces.
Correct.
So extended sabbatical.
Extended sabbatical. I feel that. So for you guys, do you guys have any? Because it was written that those scenes were written really well. As someone who has spoken with and dealt with, I've never been in the military, but obviously tried to learn and understand as much as I can. It feels very close to the source. Do you have any kind of like what are your inspirations, or what are your experiences allowed for that?
Well, basically, first of all, the military background. Someone I knew is in the military, National Guard. My dad was also the household I grew up in. He was a special ops Marine in Vietnam.
Oh,
there you go.
So enough said. But other than that, you treat people human. You pick up how people talk. I used to, ride the MBTA in Boston, just mindlessly, just, not staring. I attacked, unless it was an attractive woman, then that's different. But besides the point, you pick up on how people speak.
Yeah.
A lot of times in books and comics and movies, the dialogue it feels robotic. But in real life, people are going to, repeat something, repeat a word, repeat list. I can't think of the guy's name. The guy who did The West One, which was a show in the 2000s. Not Aaron Sorkin, but the way he wrote his dialogue, I studied it way back when it came out on DVD. So we're talking the mid 2000s. I can't think of the showrunner's name, but it has the best.
It was Aaron Sorkin, though.
What was that?
It was Aaron Sorkin who did The West Wing. Yeah.
CRS can't remember shit right now, but but just if you want to get good at something, you can't just practice. Practice, working at it is 90% of it, but you've got to be open to other forms, something in the same venue, in the same ballpark, and I don't know, just watching people. Going to Denny's at 3 a.m. when all the drunk people are there, and you see the drunk women and the drunk men, and the women start sobering up, going, "Why am I with you?" That's how people talk that way. So
yeah. I also think too, just kind of add it. I have a lot of family. I had an uncle who fought in Vietnam, and at that time they didn't know PTSD. At that time they were Agent Orange and all this stuff. He just went crazy. And this kind of, when Brian kind of wrote, it kind of brought home because his wife had to deal a lot with him, where, he was just very hard to work with mentally. To see a guy, uncle that I knew young, I was little, and to see him just a shell of himself and never to recover, and his wife stuck with him. So I guess when people see Ambrose, they're going to see a man who's fighting. He's trying to see what happened, but then he's in a relationship. He's got his wife, and she's trying to deal, and she's trying to be that support wing. And so, for the readers, we want them to be able to relate with that. And he's going to have a lot of challenges, and I think that's what's going to really I think bring the audience in where they're able to relate, and then from there, they're able to see the love and care that she has for him, and the vice versa for her.
Just to add one thing to it, even though this is concentrated on military stuff, all pain is the same blanket, just different fabrics.
Right.
So, breaking it down psychologically, when you get down to the nuts and bolts, you're going to be able to relate. It might not be to the extreme as the main character here, but it's the same pain, PTSD, nightmaric, hallucinations almost. Mm-hmm. And we take that normalcy, and in today's world, everybody has mental holdups. Hate to say that, it's the weight of the world. We are accepting it more. It's more of an open topic, which is great.
Yeah, mental health is definitely important.
These characters, the main character, and I don't want to give his name, but John Doe, keep it at that, or Alex Trebek, one and the other. We can there's going to be little bits and pieces that people can relate to.
Yeah,
that feeling of despair. That feeling of not knowing, which way is up, not being able to tell your rear end from a hole in the ground. It's going to be there, but it's not in your face. It's subjective, but regardless, it's a great freaking ride.
Yeah,
exactly. And I think to add on to that, not only with Aleem and the art team, they have done an excellent job.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Of really showing those emotions, showing those fears, those, intimate moments.
Without it being told. We're showing because of Aleem. Because of Aleem and Yusuf, it's being told, not told.
When you got as much care and consideration woven into a script as it is, it's easy to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it becomes intuitive. So
yeah.
I got to tonight. Numbers.
I love the way Aleem what is great is you have this like back and forth like tennis match basically between Ed and Brian, like no, bam, 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 and then like the ball coming anywhere near a leave, he's like script's great, pop. I'm just like, no, he's just like, no, it's not me, it's on the script, bam,
No,
there you go.
I'll pay you later that money.
I'm trying to give credit where it's due because like.
Dude, he's getting credit, man. Take a little for yourself.
Remember, all this is new for me, right? You know, so like I'm the man.
Hey, I'm new. I'm with you, Aleem. I'm more newer than you, Aleem.
First time, right? I grew up just enjoying,
yes,
you know, the finished products of other people's creations, but always having the mindset that I could do it myself. And now that I'm finally doing it and seeing it, like I'm a fan, you know, of all of it.
So okay, that's something that like I hate. Like a lot of times we'll have shows like this, not necessarily us, but like I will see shows like this, and it feels almost just like an hour-long commercial. Mm-hmm. And one thing I love is, and you kind of hit on it there, Aleem, is that like our inspirations and the things that us being fans. And so I guess my question to you would be, what are the fans and kind of the inspirations that you feel connected you to this project in the way that you become connected to it?
Yeah, so I felt like it was a great opportunity, and the pop culture, I guess it would fall under the umbrella of that, comic books and cartoons, anime and things like that, video games, all of that stuff has always helped me get through things in life. You know what I mean? Like even from pretty much little more than a toddler, this has always been a part of my life in some form or fashion. Always, you know, like an escape, something cool, whether, you know, like all kinds of different genres, you know, like across all kinds of different mediums. But comic books specifically and cartoons, animated stuff, you know, all the DC, all that Saturday morning cartoons from a youngin' on up have always been near and dear to me. So
yeah,
to be able to help to make something, help to bring something to light and take the ideas that I've had from my viewership, you know, the things that I've learned and experienced through that, and get to filter it myself and put it back out into the world is amazing to me. And when I met Ed over at C2E2 and we really got to talking, and he told me that he appreciated the work that I've done and produced it to the world, it like it hit me kind of hard, you know, in a good way. And you know, he started showing me the things about Deathblade, and I'm just looking at this character like, man, this is so dope. If I could get to be a part of this process and really making this guy come to life and other people see what I see when I look at it, like just from looking at that picture, from, you know, years of seeing similar and dissimilar things or whatever, when I look at this, I can visualize the future of the character. So, you know, to get to be a part of it, I'm going to put my all into it because I'm passionate about it, because I can already see what it can be just from that what's behind him right now, right? Like that's a hell of a pull right there in my eyes. That's a great, well done image. It says a lot about the character. You know what to expect when you know what to expect from him. Inside of the, you know, even issue 1 in the first couple of pages, he does not disappoint, right? So even with those first few pages, like we approached it with that in mind and heart and hand, that we want to bring them to what is full potential, just based off of what we had seen so far.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too that I liked, and that's something, Chuck, I appreciate, and Brian, I appreciate it, where we didn't want to, because, you know, most time when you see a cool hero, they're already in their suit, they already see their powers. They don't see their journey. They don't see how they got there. You know, everyone, you know, I guess Brian used the Netflix Daredevil approach, where we saw him, we went through his journey to when he went up to his suit. Everyone was like, yay! Everyone was excited. That's how we wanted to be able to do Deathblade. We wanted to show you the good thing, but then we want you to show you, hey, he's got to go through this journey. And something else that's kind of really dear to my soul that I think that's important and people don't understand is, when I decided to do this has been since I was in the second grade. Okay. I've always wanted to do my own comic book. Marvel was my dream job. I said, I'm going to work for Marvel, and when I decided to do this 5 years ago, I have to give credit to Jibba Moley from Gryu Comics. He's like an OG in comics. He's the one who helped me kind of build the story. I mean, I sent it to him first and he ripped me a new one. He totally ripped it to me. And he was like, are you trying to play with me or are you serious? And most people, I can understand if they were with him, they would have been like scared to be like, you know what? I'm not going to go. I'm going to do it. Or you could say, hey, take the criticism, take the challenge and do it. And I said, do the work. That's what he told me. He said, Ed, do the work. And I said, and he said, look, I don't want to see another Spawn. I don't want to see another Superman. We've seen that already. Give me something that I haven't seen. Give me something that you can do. And so when I go back, when, I was wearing that Superman suit and my best friend told me, I couldn't be Superman because I was black and he broke my heart. I was like anyone else. Hey, I'm going to grab this and I'm going to do this rather than do something different and bring something to the table. Yeah. And that opened my eyes. And once that opened my eyes, it made it a whole lot easier. So, it's okay to have experiences. I have, Jack Kirby. I love Saban. I love Todd McFarlane. But that's Todd. I'm not Todd. I'm E.A. Brown. Let's do something dynamic. Let's do something unique. And let's do something that's going to gravitate to all communities, black, white, whatever. And and they're going to see the diversity in the mag, which is really exciting on that end. So it's powerful.
Cool. Yeah. And Brian, what are some inspirations for you that kind of, I'd say, drew you to the book? You did talk about horror.
The paycheck again. No, honestly, it's so a lot of these 2 years was, us going through the process over and over again for the story. Over and over again. Eddie would call on a Monday, it would be one way. Then by Friday, it would be a completely different way. It was kind of like running around like a headless chicken. And, we had some very great talent, but the problem was that it was far too much. There's so much extensive lore, which you touched upon, Chuck. Yeah. That even though this has completely changed from the original version, it's still the roots. So what drew me to it? Kind of getting fed up with how slow it was taken, the project. Not saying, oh, I'm going to come in, I'm great. It was just we're running around, spinning wheels, going around and around in a freaking circle. Crap would get off the pot. Yeah. Anybody knows the story as well as Eddie. It's me because I've been there for 2 years. Working through, the artist that Aleem stole the job from.
Unknowingly, unwittingly.
It's not his fault. The script was great.
I don't know how this bag of diamonds got here.
But, through everybody and the writers we have had for the other titles in this, venture, because there's 3 or 4 other ones out there that we have scripts for aren't ready yet, but Deathblade is the main focus.
Yeah.
So it was one of those that I was like, all right, we need to get it going. We have an artist in Aleem now. Let's not, screw it over. No offense, Aleem. I know how artists are. You don't want to sign a contract now for a job that's 6-8 months away. That's not right to you. That's not right in general. So it was like, all right, if we put up an ad on Upwork, which is a good freelancing site, it's going to take a month, 2 months, 3 months to find the perfect fit unless it's rushed. So it was one of those that I was like, all right, just give me the ball. Just give me the ball. I'll get your idea out there. If it flies and you like it, awesome. If not, let's do Upwork. What's the harm in having me
figure it out,
delaying it for another 3 to 4 months?
Yeah.
But Brian, you knew you were going to hit that. You already knew you already had a home run.
I'm trying to be modest. No.
I know you are trying to be modest. See, he's going around and being modest. He already knew he already had a home run. He knows, if anybody, he knows more about me.
All the times we were talking about the stories, all the Timu calls that were 2 hours, I sat there going, what would I do if I was writing it?
Yeah.
Other than, trying to stay awake sometimes during them.
Yeah. I mean,
you're not supposed to know that.
But I think as fans, sometimes we get caught up into our own tunnel.
That happens with a lot of people with their projects.
You get caught in your own tunnel. And like I said, once the suit was changed, because if you've seen the old suit compared to the old was a suit. This is embodied. This is him. It changed the whole game. We immediately knew that was a popcorn story, but we were going through development. That's what development is. I got a couple scripts that are actually about to be picked up for movies and television. We've been writing about 4 or 5 scripts. It's development. I didn't think it was going to take that long, to be honest with you, but I'm glad that it did, because I would have never I would have never had the best team that I have right now today. I feel I have the best team for an independent comic out there. Period. You can, like my 13-year-old like that. Period. That's exactly how I feel.
Let's
normalize. I love all you guys.
Things their proper time to incubate in the indie comic book community.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people rush. A lot of people don't. A lot of people doing great, but I see a lot of things that, if given more time to be done properly, and myself included in this, it could have been that much better. And I feel like Deathblade, I came in towards the tail end now that I'm hearing the full story. It's been an adventure.
Dude, it's been rolling. It's been going up mountains, doing head dives, face first in the ground. It's been, but you know what though?
I had more hair. I had more hair.
Are you sure about that?
Long hair.
I had hair like John Stamos.
When we had our first meeting, I showed up and I was like, dude, that chick is hot. And then he turns around and I was like, oh crap. So that's how long the hair is.
So many things I want to say right now, but I'm not going to.
but Aleem is right. You have to when it's time for a story to come out, it's gonna come out. And one of the things I gotta praise Brian, he allowed the character to tell its story, and then he was able to take control and say, this is where we're going. And actually, he was able to read what I wanted, the dreams of what I envisioned, where I see Deathblade at. And he
finally understood your Ebonics.
Yes, he did.
I'm not the horse whisperer. I am the Eddie whisperer.
Yes, he is.
Right.
It's very few people. And I tell my wife this. My wife looks at me and she thinks I'm crazy. But I always tell her.
I do too. So
I tell her, I say, hey, these guys, Aleem and them, Aleem I tell him something, and he just goes and he just does 300 million% more than what I expected. Brian, the same way. They understand it. Once you get it, I mean, and we got it. We broke the code. So now it's just
do it.
Yeah. Just to clarify, when they say Aleem and mention, Aleem with art, we know art director, credit where it's due. Yusef Shitu is a phenomenal.
Yes, he is.
Phenomenal artist.
Yes, you guys are going to be hearing about him. That I already told Aleem, I said, every Deathblade book he's doing, buddy. I'm not going nowhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got, dude, his work's really good. Seriously. Yes. The art is really amazing and really, I would say, kinetic too. Like, just moves really well.
It's not flat. It's very dynamic.
No. Yeah.
It's
and it's kind of like,
but that's because of the script.
Yeah, it's kind of like Jaws though. It's kind of like Jaws. I told him I feel like Jaws, like the music coming. You hear the music, then you see Jaws, and all of a sudden you hear the music. Jaws is not here.
So I'll tell you guys the process of the other artwork, right? What we're doing over there on that end. So I'll look at the script, the amazing, wonderful, beautiful script.
Wait, right? You're not going to steal my job next, are you? Is that why you brought it up?
Right? Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's brilliant.
I'm your drink personally. Jeez.
All right, so I look at the script and like I start to visualize inside of my head, play it out like a movie, what it could possibly look like. So from there, I'll do some little quick 30-second sketch layouts where I think the panels should be placed, who should be, foreground, background, midground, things like that. If it's not already, detailed, I consider the placement of the letters, so art can flow. You don't want the first person speaking on the right-hand side of the page if there's another person that's going to be speaking on the left-hand side of them, things like that. Right. Once I get all that together, then I'll hand it over to Yusef, who will then do a thumbnail that we can later get approved by the team, right? Through Ed and Chuck. And once we get those approved, make any changes that we need to make there, we'll get it approved, and then we'll move on to the actual pencil and inks to get the fully detailed page. And everything's beautiful from there. Off to the colorist, Alfred's also doing an amazing job with his renders. It's become to the point where it's almost like intuitive with the colors, where I don't really have to give that much direction, because now that we got those initial kinks out, we understand the feel that we're trying to create, right? Because the color is one of the most important things in the book to me, right? If your color is off, it just destroys the tone of the book. So there's a lot of care in it, and that's the process.
Yeah, and they go through that process, and when we first started out, I admit it took us a while to respond, but I think once we got it together on our end, it's been smooth. I mean, like I told them, a lot of people think the creator's involved. Let me let you know, I let my guys do their work. If anything they can tell you, I stay out. And I know sometimes you guys, when we're on our group chats and I see the page and I just say one word, I love it. That's all I say. I say, hey, Chuck and Aleem, you guys work it out. I can say I love it, and then Chuck can say, hey, you know what, we're missing something.
I don't have a lot of, it's mostly just approving pages. Like they have a very good idea of what's happening by the time it gets to me. So
that's why I'm so surprised when I'm hearing about this 2-year history of all these.
Again, you have to find the right team, the right people.
Yeah, it was probably longer because Eddie was, already had a group, a team before I came on.
Yeah.
So it's probably been 3-4 years, probably.
It's been well. It took a little bit longer because before Deathblade, Skull Valley Comics is under a company called Jackie Boy. I serve as executive VP. Before we were going to come up with ours, we worked with a group called Comic Republic, which you guys based out of Nigeria. They have their stuff is amazing. We were working with them to get their comics a TV deal, which we did. They went to Comic-Con about 3 years ago. It was during COVID. No, it was right before COVID hit. They went and they blew up. And then we signed them, and we were working with Jide Martin, who's the CEO and the creator of Comic Republic. And they are like they are the biggest comic book indie coming out of Africa, and especially out of Nigeria. I don't know what's in Nigeria, man, but they are killing it out there. Those guys are killing it out there. But we were working with them, and once it was getting the near end of what we were doing, then I said, you know what, man, I'm helping them. Let me go do my stuff. Let me go do what I do. And that's how Deathblade got started. Because Deathblade really already kind of had it written out, actually. But I didn't have it written out in a comic view because we were going to do a movie out of it. And then I said, no, let's do a comic book. And that's how we ended up trying to figure out what that right fix was. And I got the right team. And, some people say in Hollywood, hey, sometimes it takes some movies be in development for 3 years. I mean, I hope Blade doesn't stay in development that long. We're able to get Blade out. But, I'm grateful that we finally broke the code. We found what we were looking for. And I'm just excited for the comic universe to embrace this new look. And also, this is going to be a very I call it an adult book that we're.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be a lot of blood, everything, you name it. It's going to be in it.
It's a hard R, is what we're saying. It's going to have an R rating,
yes.
So it's nothing too explicit, but yeah, certainly it's in that sort of Deadpool style of
exactly Deadpool style.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's going to be there, and so we're going to have a lot of fun, and that's another thing too. I think I was telling Aleem, even with the art of the splashing of the blood. Sital, he's killing it. It looked like it's like art when he's drawing it. And I'm sitting there like, this guy, man. So I'm excited about this. And I'm excited for everyone here on this team. And, get this vision out here. It's a little bit, I tell people I'm excited and I'm also humbled.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It is. It's a lot.
And you know what? Actually, that's a really good place to kind of start to tie it all up, because again, I kind of started this way by talking about the passion, and it has come up multiple times during this talk, is that really what has turned this lump of clay into what I think we all really believe is going to be a super cool book. Is it's been passion, and that's really what kind of folded it in there and made that happen. So I want to thank all of you guys, honestly, for making my job way easier, because really it was just about trying to make sure that everybody heard everybody else, and that nothing was kind of thrown aside without really looking at it and trying to find what could come out of this. So yeah, I think very excited. I think all of you guys are gonna seriously enjoy Deathblade. We're planning on bringing it out to Kickstarter. What is it, mid to late February? Is that what I'm hearing right now?
Yeah, we're thinking late February. It may hit March. The beginning of March. We have a few things that we're trying to get out, but we're ready to go. Everything is go. I just got the finalized pictures from Ink Studios for the trailer, and they look.
And we have our letterer.
Yes, we have
our letterer. We have a letterer who's super excited. So the team is all set. And we have the first is it 15 pages or 16 pages done?
I think we have page 18 was just submitted yesterday. Wow. I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I did see that.
On the line work.
So
I want to cut in there for 2 seconds. The one thing that I want the audience to know is that Kickstarter or not, this comic is coming. A lot of people, with Kickstarters will put it up there and be like, oh, if you donate, we'll make the comic book. But we already have this done. We want you guys to get involved and be attached from the bottom floor. Doesn't matter how, just, we're gonna provide consistency.
Yeah. I'm thankful. Yeah, that is big because I don't want people waiting 6 months for a book. I want once they purchase it, hey, once the Kickstarter is done, we're sending the orders out. You're getting your awards, your tiers, and let them know.
Issue 2 will be right around the bend.
Yeah, issue 2's already be right around the bend. We already worked.
So that was something funny is that myself, Ed, and Aleem were all in a meeting yesterday talking, and I happened to mention that issues 2 and 3 are already done and edited. And he was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, buddy. Like when you guys are done, don't think there's a lot of chill time. We're ready to go." And so that's why I really loved what Brian said, where it's like, no matter what's happening, this book is coming out. And the subsequent books the scripts are ready to go. We've tightened them out. We're outlining the next books. Like, it's all coming together. So, yeah, man.
The code has been broken. The code has been broken.
Yeah.
I tell you, both me and my team are more than eager to be able to put both feet firmly inside of this comic book industry.
Yes.
Because indie creators...
By stealing people's jobs.
No, man. Stop being passionate about it. I ain't here for it's not just about money. I want to be remembered, man. I want to create things that last, things that have an impact, and things that matter deep down inside. The money, I ain't turning down no paychecks. Right? This ain't a charity, but at the baseline, the foundation of it is passion. My passion is not in my day job that I go to and got to sneak communications to the art team when I'm on my 15-minute break.
Right.
I do not want to check out and retire from living that life for the next, 40 years. Then I'm 80 years old trying to get on a cruise with a linen suit. I want to live my life now, and comic books and animation, movies, and things like that. Pop culture is where my passion is, and I've discovered now that you can do it, right? Like I can do it.
Can we show a sneak preview of maybe one page or?
Yes.
We don't. I don't think we have any right here available in this, but there will be one on the thumbnail. We'll make sure that there's some art on the thumbnail.
Yes, we want. Yeah, I sent.
All right, still Chuck's job next for that answer.
Yeah, I did send. Hey, I did send you guys some information, some great art, and also sent the action pack. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah,
I'm not going to give it. You guys are going to go crazy when you see it. But Aline just said something that is true. I also work. I work at IT as well. Good part about it is I get to work from home, so it's great. And I work for a great company. But we do this. We're not Marvel. We're not DC. we do this because we love this. And it's funny, you know, when my job is over, it's like 3 o'clock, if it's like 4 or 5 o'clock, I'm switching over to my comic book and I'm putting all the time and energy into it. And sometimes I know I call these guys and I know I can drive them crazy. I know I drive Brian crazy because I text him every day. I text him every morning. Like, Brian, you up? Okay, here we go. Here's what I'm thinking. And Brian's like, let me get my coffee first. I was like, all right, get your coffee.
I'm going to get some whiskey. I'll be right back, guys.
I'm so glad I live in the East Coast.
But
he was waking me up
it's just
early in the morning.
It's a lot of, you know, we put a lot of time into it. And I appreciate everybody, man. I appreciate it. And also my job, you know, found out, you know, one thing I've been able to do is be as truth worthy, you know, open up to them what I'm doing. And they're excited. They want to, you know, they want to promote my book. And so like I'm telling everyone out there, man, you guys, Deathblade, reason why it's the most anticipated comic book out there, I got the best people behind me. And we haven't even talked about that variant cover guys. We got Oscar Penta, who is from DC. He is like one of the top artist guys from DC. He did amazing variant cover. We have Leo Capota. He's the new cover artist for Image. He's done the new art for Spawn and other things there. He's done a great cover art. And then of course our consultant, we have Angel Perry. She works behind the scenes. She's got some stuff that's going to help us getting out into media once we hit that level, which we are now at right now. So, folks, this is your day.
It's going to be something special, guys. It's going to be something really special. So, as we close this up, can you guys just let us know where people can track you down? Because, of course, they want to hear more about Deathblade and they want to see more as it's coming out. Of course, watching our socials, really great way of doing that. So we'll go around the room. Brian, where can people find you?
Through Smoke Signals. I don't know. Social media, Instagram's
the place.
Facebook.
There we go. Okay.
I really
Aleem, what about you? Where can we track you down?
You find me on Facebook and Instagram on Alter Ego Arts.
Yep.
Oh, wait. People can find me on OkCupid and Tinder.
Yeah, they can.
Oh, he's single. We got to get him married. We got to get Brian married. Yes, we do.
I matched with him twice, and he still hasn't answered me back. So I don't know if it's worth it. I'm just saying.
New phone, who this? New phone, who this?
delete. Ed, what about you? Where can people track you down?
People can track me down on Facebook under Edward A. Brown, or they can go on Instagram where they can see us under Skull Valley Comics or Deathblade AWK, or they can go to our website, which is www.skullvalleycomics.com, and you can follow us on Kickstarter. Just look up Deathblade, The Awakening, and follow us.
Yep. And of course, guys, you can find myself. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Aleem and Yusuf are the reasons why you guys really want to read this book. And on that,
oh yeah.
If not, they'll steal your jobs, and I'm going to beat that like a dead.
I deserve it all.
Yes.
I love it. And of course, everybody, I'm Chuck Pineau, Pineau. You can find me at that on Facebook and Instagram, and you can also find me on Twitter at Chucky Pin. Guys, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us on this awesome holiday. And really, I think, you know, we talked about our book so much, but I think something that we all would really hope for you guys is that moving, you know, this channel shows off an awful lot of really cool used books. And even newer, like big picture books. But we want to remind you that there is so much awesome stuff happening in the indies, on Kickstarter, and in places that you're normally not necessarily going to be searching. So keep your eyes open, because this is going to be a project you do not want to miss. Thank you so much, everybody, for again hanging out with us on this amazing holiday, Wednesday, Thursday, day, whatever it is, or night. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you to the EXP, our awesome producer, Kyle, and we shall see you another time.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.